The saga of Ye West will not rest as his net worth declines and his institutions are dropped. You're seeing now just the list of who have dropped him so far. You see Adidas, major corporations like Gap, Balenciaga. Now this while West continues to double down on his anti-Semitic rhetoric. Now for more on this, we're going to welcome in Managing Director of Coalition for Jewish Values, Rabbi Yaakov Menken. Good morning, Rabbi.
Good morning. Thank you for having me with you.
Let's start with something that you actually tweeted out about Kanye West destroying his empire. You said, quote, "This is how you respond to racism and anti-Semitism. Unless an actual crime is committed, it is not done by government nor by conspiracy. It is done by rational actors from major corporations to individual citizens cutting ties with hate." Now, Rabbi Menken, I want you to, if you could please expand on this tweet and just your immediate reaction of these major corporations severing ties with West.
Well, this, of course, this happened against the backdrop of Twitter going under new ownership, who insists that it should be the free speech platform that it was originally intended to be. And I was making the point that censorship from the top actually just helps hate to fester. It has to be individual decision making on the part of various platforms. Now, I know there's a big thing about deplatforming also, about how your views push you off. And that's, by the way, Twitter, that was exactly the problem, that Donald Trump would not be allowed on the platform, but the head of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, who's repressing his own people and threatening to nuke Israel, was allowed on the platform. I mean, that's just a blatant double standard. Against Kanye, finally, there was no double standard. Finally, major corporations who were working with him said, this is too toxic. This is too poisonous. The hatred here is obvious, and we don't want to work with that. We don't want to be part of that. That's the only case where it's something that we can talk about and agree upon, that hate should not have a place with major corporations, and that these corporations have the right to make their own decisions.
Absolutely. Let's talk about education. I mean, there have been many who have come out that want to educate Kanye West. Even the Holocaust Museum in LA, they offered their services to give him a private tour. That museum CEO came out and said, education is the greatest catalyst for change. But then Ye came out and called Planned Parenthood a Holocaust museum. He declined that private tour. So how do you believe you can educate someone like Kanye West if he's turning down these private tours and education?
Well, and unfortunately, at that point, you can't. There are going to be people who believe that their narrative is more important than reality. And you can apply that to a host of situations besides anti-Semitism, but obviously it includes anti-Semitism. One of the most important things you can do, and to shift gears a little bit, is to allow parents to control the education of their children, to make sure that parents do not have kids being indoctrinated to oppose the very values they hold dear. And when you shifted to education, I thought you were going to talk about the anti-Semitic attempt to control education in New York for yeshiva students, when those kids, there's just no school system producing adults better prepared for adulthood, whether it's study or running careers or having stable families. These are wonderful model citizens who are being demonized by the state because, again, they're not going along with that official government-controlled state narrative. It's got to be done by individuals. And I would love to see more individuals try to get through to Kanye West, but he has to decide that he wants to be educated.
Absolutely. Well, when it comes to what Kanye West is saying, not only on Twitter, but now he's gone to Instagram with a storm of posts over the weekend alluding to people in power. I mean, the museum even came out, that Holocaust Museum in LA, said that they have now received hundreds of messages all over social media filled with just hate and threat. I mean, do you believe that there's a potential danger for Jewish people widespread because of Kanye's passionate following? I mean, he has millions of followers.
I think it's actually larger than Kanye. It's the fact that that narrative is being accepted in some circles, and that hate, just the fact that a Holocaust Memorial Museum, for offering Kanye West a private tour, would end up being demonized and subjected to hate themselves, really tells you something. And, just over the weekend, the New York Times, again, another hit piece against the Hasidic community. All of a sudden, voting by common interest is bad when it's done by Hasidic Jews. And they went right to the idea that in 1991, the Crown Heights riots, which were perpetrated mostly by black men, was a pitted battle between Hasidic Jews, groups of Hasidic Jews and mostly black men. And I also tweeted, that makes as much sense as saying that Jews were pitted against the Nazi SS in Germany. It was an attack on the community by a different community. And that's what the hate that has to be confronted.
Right. Well,
it
Rabbi
has to be
Menken,
confronted regardless of the situation.
Right. Unfortunately, we are out of time. This is a very important conversation. So we really appreciate you coming on this morning.
Thank you so much for having me there.